am going to be talking about two kinds of mothers today, and I'm wondering which one of you are. Now, I kind of got this story from a Bible story. I kind of have a mom brain. I think everything moms. When I hear a story, I see a commercial, I see a phrase, I see a quote, it's like inside of my head, everything goes to, like, how does this apply to a mom? How does this match motherhood? It's kind of just the way God made me, but in that respect, it's cool because I can share things with you. And it's kind of how I learn stuff and how God shows me things. I don't know how God talks to you, but sometimes he talks to me in the most unusual ways. Welcome to the Moms Like Us podcast, where moms just like you learn strategies, systems, and skills through expert interviews and real-life insight designed to take your marriage, mothering, and home to the expert level. Hi, I'm Mona Corwin, your mom mentor and host, author, international speaker, and the founder of the Moms Like Us Academy. I've been coaching moms for over 25 years, and I have some really good news for you. Motherhood isn't a natural talent. It's a skill, and you can learn it. You can crush it at motherhood instead of motherhood crushing you. So let's get to today's show. And today, I was reading in my Bible about, it's in John 21, and it's the story of when Peter was, Jesus had already died, and he'd come back, and he was talking to his disciples. And Peter had come to see him. He had called for Peter, and Peter had come to see him. And Peter was a little nervous because he had abandoned Jesus when he was going through all the persecution before the crucifixion. And so Peter was feeling like Jesus wasn't going to have a good thing to say to him, but he went anyways. He went to see what Jesus had to say. And I don't know if you know this story, but I'm just going to read you the 3 questions that Jesus asked Peter. And then I'm going to tell you this crazy thought that came into my mind, how it matches moms. Okay, so Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," Peter replied, "you know I love you." "Then feed my lambs," Jesus told him. And Jesus repeated the same question. "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." "Then take care of my sheep," Jesus said. And then a 3rd time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurting that Jesus asked him the question the 3rd time, and he said, "Lord, you know everything, and you know that I love you." And Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." I've told you this before, and I'm going to tell you again. The most important thing to God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit is people. And you, as a mom, have been given charge over people. People that you know in your world, people that you have in your extended family, your man and your kids. It's people. And your role as a woman, a wife, a mother, a friend, a sister, and there was one other one. What did I forget? Oh, well, you guys know this one. Those roles are roles that you will have your entire life. These roles have been in existence since the beginning of time. And they are the roles that make the Bible so applicable to the world that we live in. You know, times change, but God's word doesn't change. It's so amazing to me. And it's amazing to me how it speaks. Okay, now I'm going to tell you. How is this anything about being a mom? Yes, feeding sheep and loving lambs. Yes, we do that. We absolutely feed and love and take care of sheep and lambs. We do. And at first I thought, oh, that's what a mom does. A mom feeds and tends and loves the lambs, the sheep around her. But then I had the funniest thought. Peter wasn't a shepherd. That's what shepherds do. Shepherds tend, feed, and love sheep, and like lay their lives down for sheep. The sheep know their name, like they have an intimate relationship with their sheep. But he was a fisherman. Fishermen don't really think about the sheep. I mean, think about the fish. They're not concerned with the well-being of the fish. They're just supposed to get them in the boat, and get them to the people. And I have to say, it immediately came to my mind. Wow, I wonder if Peter was going to be able to be a shepherd. But of course he was, because Jesus was going to help him. I think when we first start out, we're kind of like fishermen. We're like, okay, I don't even know how to handle this. I'm a fisherman that is trying to be a shepherd. I don't even know anything about sheep. I'm a fisherman. You know, you were single. You might have babysat, but you didn't know anything about like what it was going to be to. The clouds are really low today. You weren't going to have any. You weren't going to be like prepared to know like what this thing was about, like tending and caring like a shepherd. But God helps us. He gives us, actually, he puts hormones inside of us that release to help us do it. Like just the science behind what happens when you become a mother is amazing. I've told you about that before. Sweetie, we are shepherds, even though we might feel like fishermen that are trying to shepherd sheep. As a mom, I want you to know that shepherding your children's hearts, their well-being, their physical abilities, their fears, their emotions, their gifts and talents, like shepherding that, like you've got to shepherd them like a shepherd, like they're little lambs and they're sheep. And you know, sheep, we've been told, aren't the smartest of all the animals. They're not. But with a shepherd by their side, they can be safe and they can grow up and they can be tended to and they can do what they're supposed to do, which is lend their fur and their wool to the world around them, which is kind of like being fruitful, which kind of took me back to John 15, but I'm going to talk to you about that tomorrow. Yeah, so as shepherds of our children's lives, we have to be involved with that. We have to be there with them. We have to be able to know what's going on around them. We have to be able to keep the wolves away. And as a mom, it's our job to do that. And we don't always know exactly how to make that happen. So when a shepherd is learning to be a shepherd, he goes with other shepherds so that he can learn from them. So you'd be a young shepherd growing up, and then you would be learning from the older shepherds, and then you would get your own flock. Yeah, it's just like God tells us in Titus 2, that the older women are to teach the younger women, and then it says exactly what the older women are supposed to be teaching the younger women. And guess what? It's shepherding a flock. And so as you learn to do it, and you have your own flock, but you know what? Shepherds weren't just like all by themselves all the time with their flocks all over the place. They would come into town and they would put all their flocks in one great big pen. And kind of like we do when we take our kids to the park or to a play yard or a swim park. But when that shepherd called out to his sheep, only his sheep came. Isn't that amazing? Only his sheep knew the sound of his voice. How many times have you called for your children and nobody else's kids look but yours look up? Because they know your voice. It's kind of like the shepherd and the sheep. Of course, when I'm in the store and I hear somebody call mom, I almost always turn around. You know why? Because I have a shepherd's heart. And so if somebody's saying mom, it means that there's a sheep that needs something. Isn't this cool? I got all of that from reading the story about Jesus and Peter. God will take the things that you read in His Word and He will illuminate ideas and thoughts into your heart. And it may like be throughout the day, or it may be like 2 days later. Like as soon as I was reading that and I thought, well, what do sheeps really give? And I realized about the wool, and it reminded me of John 15 that I read 3 days ago. And guess what? It connected. And I'm going to tell you about the connection to John 15. Sweetheart, be a mom that is a shepherd, that is aware of what's going on with their sheep and is tending them and loving them. And that takes work. It takes work to tend to your flock. Don't be a fisherman that's trying to be a shepherd. Don't treat your flock like fish, where you don't really care about what's going on and you're not really active in what's going on. You're kind of just like getting them in, cleaning them up, and heading them out where they need to go. I know that even moms that do that love their kids, and I do. And I also know that lots of moms are overwhelmed and they're stressed out because they have too much going on. If you are overwhelmed and you are feeling stretched thin and you feel like you are tending to your family like a fisherman and not a shepherd, then sweetie, some things need to change. I don't want you to get to the place in your mothering where you realize I missed it. There are women right now. There are lots of women that are sending their kids off to college. And most of them are crying. Most of them are crying. But two moms, there's two different kinds of crying. One mom is crying because it went so fast and she realizes she missed most of it. That her kid probably isn't fully prepared. And she loves them and she is feeling regrets because of the things that she didn't get to do or the choices that she didn't make so that she could do them. And just like there's just so many regrets that a mom can have during that time. And she's thinking about all the things that she missed. And then the other mom that's crying is crying because she didn't miss a thing. She didn't miss a thing. Now, she may have forgotten some things to show them, like maybe how to work a credit card or something like that. But she didn't miss it. She was a shepherd. She shepherded her child's heart. She shepherded their failures. When they got lost, she went and found them. And she made sure that they were safe. I hope that today, as your kids are starting school, and yesterday, if you didn't watch yesterday, I talked to you about losing your marbles. There's only 18 years that you have major influence on your kids. And I hope that you will take full advantage and be a shepherd and not a fisherman. If you need help with this, that's what Mona the Mom Mentor does. That's what the Moms Like Us Academy is going to help you lay out a foundation for this so that you can move your children through and you can make sure that they are being shepherded and you are equipping them and you're not missing anything. And everybody's looks different. But we're going to be doing that. It launches on September 26th. And there will only be a certain amount of time that you can get in, and then the doors will close to the academy until the next time it opens. And I think it's like 6 to 8 months later. So I will be sending out. You'll get information out. You'll see it coming. I want, as a mom that wants to be a Titus 2, like that's what I do. That's why they call me Mona the Mom Mentor. I want to equip moms. I want to fulfill my role as a Titus 2 mom to shepherd the young moms that are around me. And that's why I do what I do. And so I hope that you were encouraged today. And if it kind of made you sad, go ahead, DM me and let me encourage you a little bit. All right. You might need to rewatch this, but why don't you send it to a friend so that together you can join hands like good shepherds and shepherd your children together. All right, that's it, little mama. You know what? Your marriage matters. You matter. And your mothering, it matters so much.